Good morning, Year 6. I hope that you're all safe and well and had a lovely weekend and managed to get out and play in the snow a little bit. I have to say, at 9 o'clock on Friday night, Isabel, George and I and Archie looked out the window and we saw that it was snowing, so we put on our coats and our boots and we went for a lovely walk in the snow. It was beautiful because there was no one around anywhere and we were the first people to tread on the snow as well in the park by our house. So we got very excited about that, though George did throw a couple of snowballs at me that went down my neck, so I wasn't very pleased about that. But I do hope that you had lots of fun over your weekend. So it is Monday today. Oh, I'm so excited, Year 6, because you have got such fantastic activities to do this week in all of your subjects. So I am sure that you are going to enjoy all of that. But also, we are starting a new scheme in English. Now I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about that, but it's called The City of Silence. So I think you're really going to enjoy that, and we're going to be starting that this week and finishing it off next week, so that will be great for you. So first of all, thank you so much for all of your fantastic emails and all of the work that you have been doing. You have been brilliant at absolutely everything. Your maths, your fraction work, your English, your amazing imaginations and your wonderful stories that you have written. Oh, I have been transported to so many different places. Oh my gosh, all of the world, and I have been so excited reading them because, oh my gosh, some of them have been so excited with what's been happening and being chased and getting back through the portal. Oh wow, it's been absolutely wonderful to read everything that you've been doing. So I'm super proud of you as always. So today, we're going to start with maths. Now, this is our final week of fractions, you might be glad to know. So we've got some wonderful activities for you with fractions this week. So like always, follow the link on from White Rose and do the first questions on the first sheet. And if you want to, try the challenge if you're able to, but don't worry if you can't. So what are we doing today? Well, we are doing the 4 operations in fractions, okay? So we are looking at, it's almost revision in a way, because we are looking at addition, subtraction of fractions, multiplication. Yeah, we are looking at all, and division, of course, that keep change flip. We're looking at absolutely everything we have done already. So really, you're going to have to think quite carefully about how we did each of those methods. So if you remember back when we were doing addition and subtraction, when we were doing addition and subtraction of fractions, it was really important that we change the denominator to be the same. And when we did that, so we changed it to a common denominator, and when we did that, we had to make sure that whatever we did to that fraction, the denominator on the bottom, we had to do it to the top. So please remember to do that, because I know sometimes some of you are now so good at fractions that you forget that little bit and you just carry on, and you've just got to stop and think a little bit. Make that denominator the same when you are adding and subtracting. It's slightly different, isn't it, when we're multiplying and division, okay, and dividing. So when you are multiplying, can you remember last week I showed you those examples where you multiply the numerator and you multiply the denominator, and then you can simplify afterwards, or you can simplify before you multiply. Yeah, can you remember me showing you those 2 strategies? And then finally, there was division. Can you remember that saying that we said for division? Keep, change, flip. So you kept the first multiplication the same, okay? So you kept the first fraction the same, and then you changed that division sign to a multiplication, and then you flipped that final fraction over, didn't you? And then you could just multiply it like a normal multiplication. So I'm sure that will be okay. What you're going to have in some of your questions is you're going to be given a question, a bit of problem solving, and you're going to have to choose the best method to use. All right, but then, okay, after that, you're going to be looking at BIDMAS. Now, I'm going to recap a little bit about this because I know it was in the morning task last week and some of you forgot BIDMAS. So can you remember what BIDMAS was when we did it at school? And we did it during last lockdown. We started it during last lockdown as well. BIDMAS, let me have a look. Okay, so we have got brackets, indices, division and multiplication, and addition and subtraction. Now, I've put a little bracket around those. Can you think why I might have put a little bracket around those? If you have a question, okay, that has got division and multiplication in it, you do whatever comes first. So if the division comes first, you do the division. If the multiplication comes first, you do the multiplication. You do it in the order of what comes up first, and that's the same for addition and subtraction as well. So whatever comes first, if it's addition and subtraction, you do that first. So guys, always remember BIDMAS, and you do it in fractions as well. So I'm going to show you an example in fraction. Now this is the one on the white rows as well. So when you see this, you'll think, oh, that's the one Miss Lawson told us about. I want you to remember now, BIDMAS, brackets, indices, division, multiplication, addition and subtraction. Right, okay. So this is a question that you might come across, all right? So in brackets, we have got 1 3/5 minus 7/10, close brackets, squared. Indices, we have got that squared. Okay, so I'm going to sit back and have a little think about this. So not only have we got a mixed number subtracting a fraction, but we've also got brackets and we've also got indices, we've also got it squared. So this is quite tricky, year 6. Now, knowing some of you, you'll be saying, no, it's not, Miss Lawson. I think I can do that. I'm going to have a go. Well, I hope that you do because I think it's really fun and exciting. So what do I do first? Oh, let me look at this. We have got BIDMAS. Brackets comes first. Okay, let's have a look at this. Have we got brackets? Oh, well, yes, we have got brackets. So in the brackets, we have got 1 3/5 minus 7/10, close brackets. Now, it's subtraction of fractions. What did we do for subtraction of fractions? Let me think for a moment. I remember. What we did was we had to change the denominator to the same, didn't we? So I'm going to ignore that whole number just for a second. Okay, year 6. I'm going to change that 3/5 to tenths because I know, using my 5 times table, that 5 and 10, a common denominator of both of those would be 10. So I'm going to multiply that 5 by 2 to get 10, multiply that 3 by 2 to get 6. So I have got 1 6/10 minus 7/10. Oh, right, I'm still in brackets here, but I can't, if I ignored that whole number, I can't subtract 7/10 from 6/10. We'd be going into minus fractions, and we do not do that. So what could I do? Let me think about my knowledge of fractions. What have we learnt before? I know. We can change a mixed number to an improper fraction, can't we? We could make that top number bigger. So how do we do that? Well, can you remember? We look, wrong side. We look at that whole number and the 6/10. Then we say 1 times 10 is 10. We plus that 6, which makes 16/10. Oh, year 6, we're getting somewhere now. There's a lot of steps in this, isn't there? Oh my goodness. Right. So we've got 16/10 minus 7/10. We're still in brackets and it is still squared. So we can now very easily subtract 7/10 from 16/10, which is 9/10. Okay, so we have got 9/10, but we have still got that squared number. So we know with that indices that when something is squared, we have to multiply it by ourselves, by itself, okay? So 9/10 plus 9/10 equals 81/10. Brilliant. 81/10, okay? So we finally got there. Could we go a bit further, do you think? What do you think we could do to that improper fraction? I hope you're shouting at me now. Change it to a mixed number, Miss Lawson. Change it to a mixed number. Well, that's what we're going to do. If you stop at 81/10, you are still right, so don't worry about that. But I'm going to go a step further now. I am going to change 81/10 to a mixed number. So I look at that division, okay? 81 divided by 10 equals 8 and 1/10. And there we have got our answer. So we have gone through so many steps for that. But when you break it down, you can see it's really, really not that tricky. So take your time. And again, this is explained on the video link from White Rose. But only do what you can. I know how hard you all work. So do what you can on the White Rose. And do not, please, 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 do not forget BIDMAS, brackets, indices, division, multiplication, addition and subtraction, okay? I hope you really enjoy doing that. I've got a feeling it's really going to make you think, but my gosh, you are going to do so well at it. Right. The time has come, okay? I know I've mentioned it to some of you already in your emails, but we are starting a new Talk for Writing scheme this week, and it is called The City of Silence. Oh, you're going to love this. So, it's not only another chance to use your imagination, but it's got a little bit of poetry in it as well. And I know how much you enjoyed poetry last year with Miss Hickman when you were doing the slam poetry, all right? And if we'd have been in school, we'd have done The Highwaymen, which is a fantastic narrative poem. We're still going to do it when we get back to school, but so I thought I'd give you a little bit of a taster of poetry. So we are going to focus today on activity 1 and 2. So I've attached a booklet to our home learning page, and there's a PowerPoint as well. So whichever you prefer using, you use whichever, okay? Now, you read, I'm not going to read it you now, but you read the introduction through, okay, about the City of Silence. And we are going today to do activity 1 and 2, okay? Now, for this, you might need your dictionary or thesaurus, okay? So if you haven't got one at home, which you might not have, you could also look on the computer. Can you remember I said last week that you could do that as well? Just to help you get a range of words, but don't worry if you are not able to. Okay, so we are going to do activity 1 first of all, which is making a list of place. So what does that mean? So it means think of places. So the examples on here is a wood, a city, a shed, a maze, a cellar. I'm sitting in my kitchen. A kitchen, the lounge, the garden, yeah, the forest, okay? So you can think of all different places, and what I'd like you to do is make those into a list. And then what I want you to do is to put them into categories. Now, the categories, the 4 categories that have been given as an example, as always, there's brilliant examples on here, are water, where people live, buildings, this one, look, outer space. So the places that you put don't have to just be in this country, in this world. They could be in outer space as well. So you can see what I mean about using your imagination. And could you write a list underneath so that you've got a little table and you've got those places, because you're going to be using this. All of this work that you're going to be doing is going to be building up, as we always do, but you'll see where we're going with this. It's really exciting, and I think you're going to absolutely love it. And then for activity 2, we are looking at abstract nouns. Now, we haven't touched upon abstract nouns this year. But however, there is an example of some abstract nouns in the activity booklet on page 5. Okay, so an abstract noun is something that exists, okay, but you cannot see it. So it's not something that you can see, and it's not something that you can touch. So the best way for me to describe it, and it describes it like this in here as well, is it can be a feeling. It can be love. It can be happiness, okay? It could be a dream. Or from reading your stories last week, it could be fear, okay? So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to think about some abstract nouns, and I'd like you to write those into a list as well, okay? So today's activities, all right, are we're starting to plan, if you'd like to look at it that way. So we're starting to plan. So think really carefully about all of those places, then put them into categories, okay? And then after that, I'd like you to write a list of abstract nouns. I thought this was pretty apt as well, because in PSHE last week, we were talking about feelings, weren't we? And they're the perfect things to use for abstract nouns as well. So that is your English for today. All right, so we've gone through our maths and we've gone through our English. What are we going to do this afternoon? Well, I am really pleased. We are going to continue with our whole school music project where we are looking at different composers. So I'm really pleased to say that this week we are focusing on Mozart, all right? So it's in the same it's the same way that we've looked at it before, okay? So there's a creative response for Mozart, and there is also an information PowerPoint as well, and a quiz as well for you to answer. Now I know lots of you have had lots of fun answering the quiz, so if you read through that PowerPoint, and also there's a link where you can listen to his concerto number 4 as well, so you have lots of fun doing that. And then as it's Monday afternoon as well, we have got picture news, all right? So if you'd like to have a look at picture news. Now last week there became a new president of the United States of America, as I am sure that you are all very, very much aware of, Joe Biden, okay? He became the 46th president of the USA. Now, that made us think, what makes a good leader? Okay, so the activities from picture news, if you have a look at the PowerPoint and have a look at the assembly as well, the link for the assembly, and then there's a couple of activities. Oh, I think they're fantastic. The first activity is to pretend that you're the Prime Minister for the day and think about what sort of decisions you're going to make, and are they all really good decisions, or are some of them quite hard? I'd imagine at the moment the Prime Minister is making some really, really difficult decisions. So I think it would be great for you to think about that. And then the second activity, I know that you'll love because it's drawing, is to create an image. And on that image, label what makes a good leader, what you think makes a good leader. Okay, now I didn't say at the beginning of the day, there's also another gospel assembly from Mr. Carey for you to watch, all right? So if you want to watch that first thing this morning, please do. But Year 6, I hope you have a fantastic day learning today. As I said, there's lots of fantastic work for you to do, but as always, just do what you can, because I will be super proud of you, whatever you do. You're absolutely fantastic. Okay, so have a fantastic day, have a great day, and enjoy the snow. Get out in that snow, all right? Okay, lots of love. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.